Hello, and welcome to Llama Foreign Film Edition. Dog not here right now. He's saving world with chopsticks. Go zero!
Hello and welcome to the third episode of the Drama Llamas.
I see you're back from saving the world with chopsticks. And scrubs, that's a new part of your outfit. I like the dichotomy between Chinese cuisine and medical pharmaceuticals. It's a very unique combination. I wouldn't have thought of it.
Well, one of the things that really struck me about Egri's chapter was on page 34, where he talks
Got him marked.
a little bit about... let's see. Well, first he begins, every object has three dimensions: depth, height, width. Human beings have an additional three dimensions:
Oh, man.
physiology, sociology, and psychology. And he also adds there, without a knowledge of these three dimensions, we cannot appraise a human being. And I thought that was really a really nice way to encapsulate what it is to be a human being, really. And especially just the immense value that we need to put in, or the immense amount of stock, I guess, that we should put into those three attributes of a character. I mean, I think a lot of times if a character comes across as flat, I think it's because they're lacking one, two, or all three.
Yeah, that's the claim that Egri makes. I actually find it really interesting that he points out physiology. Because honestly, I don't know if you've heard this in creative writing classes. I was always told that you don't go out of your way to develop your character's physical attributes unless they have something really outstanding. Like, unless your character has some deformity, or three heads, or purple eyes that shoot laser beams. You know, keep it minimal and let the imagination fill in the blanks. I think it's really interesting, the point that he makes towards that end. That characters with different physiological setups are going to react to stimuli differently. A pretty girl is going to react to a situation differently than a hunchbacked, snot-nosed old man would. And would be treated differently.
Right.
Like, that's a whole different dichotomy, even if they have the same psychological profile.
Exactly.
I thought that was really stellar.
And something about just that phrase, we can't, without a knowledge of these three dimensions, we cannot appraise a human being.
It's an interesting choice of words.
Yeah, and while I think on one hand, someone might be like, oh, you're objectifying your characters, or something like that. I think it's a very good choice of vocabulary to use the word appraise. Because, you know, with the word appraise, it really heightens the, or accentuates the sense of value that we should have with our characters.
Yeah, and appraise does have that monetary connotation, but when you appraise, say, a gem or furniture or housing, you go over all the details. It's not necessarily about this is X bajillion dollars. Right. It's you need to know absolutely everything about this item so you can determine exactly how it's going to function in the market.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I thought that was a really cool choice of word, and very appropriate upon further consideration. Cool. Environment! The thing that everyone wants to protect and keep from blowing up is also a key factor in character development. Which is funny, because I always thought of environment as part of setting, and setting is something entirely separate from character. But, page 46, as now that we've got these marked, we can move too quickly. It seems that human beings react to environment exactly as the original one-celled creatures did when they changed their shape, color, and species under the pressure of environment. I mean, it's all about reacting to change. Like, if I do this and steal your glasses, so now you can't see, and I've got your glasses, and you're going to appreciate it when I give them back. Now you can see better. Please don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. But anyway, the point remains, bandage your eyes for 24 hours? Like, you remember that part? where he talks about like losing a limb and sleeping in a bug-infested mattress. But yeah, I think it absolutely would affect character. What did you think? I know you had some things on that chapter.
Well, I mean, one of the things that struck me a couple pages later on 49 was he talks about a character is the sum total of his physical makeup and the influences his environment exerts upon him. So it very much is this sort of it kind of demands a relationship, and not a static one, but like I guess a give and take between the characters and the environment. Almost like I guess for it to be ideal, I guess maybe like a tug of war or something, I guess is one way you can look at it.
That sounds right.
But yeah, just definitely the idea that
constant fluctuation,
environment and character are just so you can't separate the two.
So environment is the clingy girlfriend, and character is the boyfriend desperately trying to get away for a drink with his buddy who has to lie about saving an old lady from a burning building. You've never been there?
And on that same page, life is change, which is just...
That's a great quote.
That just covers everything, I think.
49 and 50. I like how it talks about the, speaking of relationships, actually, accidental transition. Those are nice. When it talks about the man who discovers his girlfriend/fiancé has been cheating on him, if this man had, say, the mother of the same young man had an experience like this young lady's and became a better wife, the young man's attachment might grow into love. I'm reminded of a really interesting writing prompt that was given in a creative writing class once, where you started off with a simple statement. It could even be something like, Johnny loves Sally. Then you passed your statements around the circle, and each person had to complicate the situation further. I.e., I give it to you, you write, Sally cheats on Johnny. You pass it to the next person, and that person writes, Johnny finds out. And these are very lame examples and pretty much using the exact thing that they show here in the book. But the point being, that exercise can show you all the different directions that a character and their complicated situation can go.
Absolutely.
Because based on who gets your scrap of paper at what point in the process, what you get is going to change completely. It's kind of like telephone.
Yeah.
But with a story. I thought that was kind of cool. You don't often see authors getting mean like this, but I really like what Egri says on 60. If for any reason we feel that prostitution wasn't the only way out for Irene, focusing, of course, on the dialectical approach, which outlays exactly why and how the particular character came into this situation, you have failed as a craftsman and a dramatist. Man, there's no punches pulled there. It's not even like, you should reconsider, maybe work it around a little bit, play with it, tweak it. No, it's just like,
failed.
You suck, sir. You fail. You go back to school. Go to jail. Do not pass go. No $200. You just... But even though that's a big, ballsy claim, I kind of like it.
No, I absolutely agree.
I think that the way he outlines the dialectical approach is really nice. We have 4 pages outlining this character, Irene, and on 59, the page before he throws down that gauntlet, he gives a whole big explanation as to she has to run away, ergo her character must think this way. She has to be vain. She has to be a little naive and kind of flighty. And he essentially runs you through why Irene has to turn to prostitution. And I don't think it's very often in creative writing we see this.
No.
It kind of made me sad, Doug. A little scared. And then hopeful. Hopeful for a mighty future. So what do you think about that? Dialectical, it's a very short chapter. That's mostly what I got out of that. The outline was great.
Yeah, that was actually one of the things that I focused on most, was just that this whole catalog of everything about Irene.
Yeah, there's a ton.
We know she's female. We know she's 19 years old. We know she's 5 feet 2 inches. Like that sort of degree of
detail.
Yeah. I don't know why I couldn't think of that word.
Is a hard word.
Like even if 20% of this actually comes up in the actual text of whatever story you're telling with Irene as a character, like it almost doesn't matter just because these things have been thought out.
It's like the iceberg theory. You only see this much. You only see this much of it. But there's a whole big recycling bin. So much here.
Why is the iceberg coming in from the side?
It's a very strange iceberg. It's a hovercraft iceberg invented by aliens. But to truly understand the recycling bin in its entirety, you need to know all about it. Its full dimensions, its volume, how much can it hold? Why do people put cigarettes in there? All sorts of things. Yeah, it's kind of gross. We should hurt someone. But it's that same concept of you as the author need to know, have a dialogue. And to tie it all back to the beginning, one of the first examples is someone who basically said, I sit down and have a conversation with my characters. I know them. And we should know them.
No, absolutely.
Like we know each other. And everyone around us.
I mean, it's a practice I really want to actually try and just sit down and I've got this character. Let's know everything we possibly can about this character.
I agree.
And sure, it seems like a chore, but I think it is a chore that is ultimately for the best. If you truly care about your characters, if you truly want to write characters that people want to care about, you're going to sit down and you're going to take the time to write out this entire sketch.
Yeah, the amount of work that goes into writing, I'd say less than half of it is actually putting words on the page for your actual manuscript. But yeah, I think it's something we should try, but I think for now, we need to go save the world from a big, giant green monster. Go kick his butt, Doug. Go kick his butt.